I'm 75 now, and I can't remember anybody.
In a shocking twist that has left royal watchers stunned, Queen Camilla has reportedly introduced a new and controversial tiara rule that has both Princess Catherine and Duchess Sophie in tears. The elegant sparkle of royal jewels has always symbolized tradition, hierarchy, and grace within the British monarchy, but now, that shimmering unity seems to be cracking. For centuries, royal women have worn tiaras not just as ornaments but as symbols of honor and inclusion. However, according to palace insiders, Camilla's dramatic policy shift could drastically change who gets to wear these historic crowns, and when. This has caused visible tension within the family, especially between Camilla, the newly solidified queen consort, and Catherine, the future queen herself. Sources claim that Camilla's new rule was revealed during a recent private event at Buckingham Palace, where Catherine and Sophie were both reportedly blindsided. What was meant to be a simple gathering soon turned emotional, as Catherine is said to have fought back tears after realizing the implications of the Queen's decision for Duchess Sophie, known for her quiet strength and long-standing loyalty to the royal family. The news struck deeply. After years of dedicated service, she too was reportedly left feeling heartbroken and humiliated. Behind palace doors, whispers of jealousy, favoritism, and power struggles are spreading quickly. Could this tiara rule be Camilla's attempt to solidify her control, or is there something more symbolic at play? As tensions rise between the royal women, one question remains. Has Queen Camilla just shattered one of the monarchy's most sacred traditions? When it comes to the British royal family, even the smallest gestures can carry immense meaning, and nothing symbolizes power, grace, and royal status quite like a tiara. For decades, these glittering heirlooms have marked moments of celebration, elegance, and royal unity. But according to sources close to Buckingham Palace, Queen Camilla's recent decision has sparked tears, shock, and growing tension among senior royal women, especially Princess Catherine and Duchess Sophie. The alleged new tiara rule surfaced during what was supposed to be a private and joyous evening reception at the palace. Insiders say Queen Camilla gathered the senior female royals to discuss updates regarding royal jewelry protocols, a matter that rarely causes controversy. However, what began as a polite conversation reportedly turned emotional when Camilla introduced a new restriction regarding who may wear specific tiaras from the royal collection. Traditionally, tiaras are shared among senior royal women for official events, weddings, and state dinners. Each piece holds history, from Queen Mary's dazzling lover's knot to Queen Alexandra's regal kokoshnik design. Yet according to whispers within the palace, Camilla intends to limit access to these treasured jewels to only a select few, primarily herself and her direct lineage. For Princess Catherine, the poised and beloved future queen, the announcement reportedly came as a deep blow. Catherine has worn several of the most famous royal tiaras with grace and respect, often symbolizing continuity and connection to Queen Elizabeth II's legacy. To hear that access might now be restricted left her visibly shaken, according to one insider. Duchess Sophie, too, was caught off guard. Having served the royal family with quiet dignity for more than 2 decades, she has long been admired by Queen Elizabeth II and trusted for her composure. The thought of being excluded from long-held royal traditions brought her to tears. She felt that all the years of loyalty meant nothing, a source reportedly said. Behind closed doors, royal experts claim the new rule is part of Camilla's broader effort to redefine the image of the monarchy under King Charles III's reign. Some see it as a way for Camilla to assert her authority as queen consort, ensuring that the jewels, once symbolic of the late queen's generosity, now reflect her personal preferences and power. However, others view it as a move driven by insecurity. Camilla has always been compared to the late Princess Diana and more recently to Princess Catherine, one commentator noted. Restricting the tiaras may be her way of controlling the royal narrative, of deciding who gets to shine and when. Reports suggest that Catherine and Sophie shared a quiet moment after the meeting, visibly emotional over what they felt was a loss of tradition and trust. For both of them, this isn't about jewelry, an insider said. It's about respect and what the tiaras represent within the family. The public, of course, remains divided. Some royal fans support Camilla's right to make changes, believing every new monarch has the authority to set their own standards. Others, however, are calling this move unnecessarily cruel and a slap in the face to two of the royal family's most admired women. One thing is certain. Behind the palace's golden gates, a quiet storm is brewing, and the fallout from this new tiara rule could reshape not just royal wardrobes, but royal relationships themselves. After Queen Camilla's announcement, Buckingham Palace was left in an uncomfortable silence that spoke louder than any royal decree. Princess Catherine, known for her grace under pressure, managed a polite smile before quietly excusing herself. Duchess Sophie followed moments later, leaving the room with glistening eyes. What had started as an elegant evening ended in an emotional storm, one that no royal portrait could ever capture. Behind the gilded walls of Kensington Palace later that evening, Catherine was reportedly heartbroken. According to close friends, she felt not only blindsided, but also deeply disrespected. For years, she had honored royal traditions with elegance, never stepping beyond her role. The tiaras she wore, such as the lover's knot, once beloved by Princess Diana, carried sentimental value, representing a link to the monarchy's past. Now, hearing that she might no longer be allowed to wear such pieces felt like losing a part of that legacy. Catherine has always viewed these jewels as symbols of continuity, said one palace insider. They're not about glamour for her, they're about history, duty, and family. Meanwhile, Duchess Sophie, who has quietly supported the royal family through countless engagements, often away from the spotlight, was said to be equally devastated. Sophie, who had a close bond with the late Queen Elizabeth II, reportedly felt the decision dishonored the trust and affection she once shared with the late monarch. Sophie always saw herself as a loyal servant of the crown, the insider continued. She never expected to be treated as an outsider. In the days following the incident, tension within the royal circle grew palpable. Catherine and Sophie both continued with their official duties, maintaining perfect poise in public. Yet royal watchers couldn't ignore their noticeably subdued demeanors during recent appearances. Both women appeared composed, but their eyes, as some noted, told a different story. Adding to the tension were reports that Camilla had instructed royal jewelers to catalog certain tiaras and heirlooms separately under her name, a move that many interpreted as her way of tightening control. This new organization system reportedly included a stipulation. Only senior royals who receive direct permission from the queen consort may access select tiaras for upcoming events. The rule was seen by some courtiers as excessive and unnecessary, but no one dared challenge it openly. "The queen's word is final," said one longtime palace aide. But it doesn't mean everyone agrees. As the emotional fallout continued, King Charles reportedly became aware of the growing unease among the family. Those close to him said he was sympathetic to both sides, but hesitant to interfere in what he viewed as a domestic royal matter. Still, sources claim Charles privately comforted Catherine, reminding her of her future role as queen and the influence she would one day wield in her own right. Despite her heartbreak, Catherine's response has been nothing short of dignified. Rather than confronting Camilla directly, she has chosen silence, allowing her actions and composure to speak louder than any public statement. Duchess Sophie, too, has carried on with quiet strength, attending charity events and royal engagements without showing visible resentment. Behind the scenes, however, the bond between the two women has only grown stronger. "Catherine and Sophie are closer than ever," said a royal insider. "They understand what it means to stay loyal, even when it hurts." But while both women have handled the situation with grace, one lingering question remains. Will Queen Camilla reconsider her decision, or is this new tiara rule here to stay? The quiet tension that followed Queen Camilla's new tiara rule soon became impossible to ignore. Inside Buckingham Palace, whispers filled the corridors, and even the most loyal staff could sense the frost that had settled between the royal women. When the queen consort finally called for a private meeting to clear the air, few expected what was about to unfold. According to palace sources, the gathering took place in one of the smaller drawing rooms, a space chosen for its intimacy, though the atmosphere was anything but warm. Present were Queen Camilla, Princess Catherine, Duchess Sophie, and 2 senior courtiers. King Charles was said to be informed but deliberately chose not to attend, perhaps hoping the women would resolve the matter privately. Camilla, poised yet noticeably defensive, began by explaining the reasoning behind her new tiara rule. "It's about protecting the royal collection," she reportedly said. "These jewels represent centuries of history. They should be worn only when absolutely necessary, and only by those who uphold the traditions with utmost care." Her words might have sounded diplomatic, but the tone, witnesses claim, felt cold. Princess Catherine sat quietly, her expression calm but unreadable. Duchess Sophie, ever the peacemaker, tried to understand Camilla's point, asking if the rule was meant to modernize royal practices or simply to tighten control. Camilla's reply was firm. "It's a matter of discretion and hierarchy. Not every engagement requires the display of diamonds." That single line reportedly hit both Catherine and Sophie deeply. For decades, the royal family had followed protocols established by Queen Elizabeth II, a monarch who believed in unity and fairness among her female relatives. To see those traditions reshaped so abruptly felt, to many, like a betrayal of her memory. According to one insider, Catherine finally broke her silence during the meeting. "Her Majesty always said the jewels were meant to connect the family," Catherine said softly, referring to the late Queen. "They're part of who we are, not a prize to be earned or withheld." For a moment, there was silence. Even Camilla seemed taken aback by the calm strength in Catherine's words. But rather than back down, the Queen consort reportedly replied, "That may have been true then, but times have changed." The tension in the room was palpable. Sophie later spoke up, echoing Catherine's sentiment. "Your Majesty, we serve the same family, the same legacy," she said gently. "We only wish to honor it." Despite their respectful tone, it was clear that the emotional divide had deepened. When the meeting ended, no official decision was reversed. Camilla's new rule stood firm, and though polite farewells were exchanged, the air remained heavy with unspoken disappointment. Outside the palace walls, rumors soon began to leak. Royal commentators noticed Catherine's choice of jewelry during her next public engagement, a simple pair of pearl earrings instead of a tiara, despite the occasion traditionally calling for one. It was a quiet but powerful statement, interpreted by many as a silent protest. Public opinion quickly turned. Fans of the Princess of Wales and Duchess of Edinburgh flooded social media with messages of support, criticizing what they saw as Camilla's unfair and controlling behavior. Meanwhile, royal insiders insisted the issue had been exaggerated, that the Queen merely wanted to preserve the jewel's condition and symbolism. Still, even within the palace, not everyone was convinced. "This isn't about diamonds," one source said. "It's about dominance." In the wake of the meeting, Catherine and Sophie's bond strengthened further, united by shared pain and purpose. Both vowed to continue serving the crown with dignity, not through confrontation, but through quiet resilience. But as one courtier put it, the sparkle may have dimmed, yet the light of true royalty, grace, compassion, and respect still shines brightest in them. In the weeks following the emotional palace meeting, the atmosphere within the royal family grew increasingly fragile. While Queen Camilla maintained her public composure, her new tiara rule had quietly fractured the unity the late Queen Elizabeth II worked so hard to preserve. King Charles, ever the diplomat, found himself caught in the middle of a silent conflict between the women closest to him, his wife, his daughter-in-law, and his beloved sister-in-law. According to insiders, King Charles was deeply troubled by the growing tension. Though he had chosen not to interfere initially, he could no longer ignore the emotional strain it placed on Catherine and Sophie. both of whom had been loyal and gracious representatives of the monarchy. Privately, he was said to have expressed his regret over the way the issue had been handled. This was not the tone his reign was meant to set, one royal aide revealed. During a private lunch at Sandringham, Charles reportedly attempted to mend fences. "We must remember what this family represents," he told Camilla, his tone gentle but firm. "Tradition is not just about rules, it's about the people who uphold them." Camilla listened quietly, but defended her decision, arguing that modernization required difficult choices. "The monarchy must evolve," she said, "even when it's uncomfortable." Yet those close to her claimed that the criticism she faced from the public had begun to weigh heavily on her. Behind closed doors, she worried about appearing as though she were trying to overshadow Catherine, something she insisted was never her intention. Meanwhile, Princess Catherine continued to carry herself with quiet dignity. Though she avoided making any public comment, her actions spoke volumes. During a charity gala a few weeks later, she appeared in a stunning sapphire blue gown, notably without a tiara. Instead, she wore a pair of earrings once gifted by Queen Elizabeth II. Royal watchers immediately took notice, interpreting the gesture as both a tribute to the late Queen and a reminder of her connection to royal legacy beyond politics and privilege. Duchess Sophie, too, found subtle ways to express her feelings. During an engagement with children's organizations in Manchester, she wore a brooch that had once belonged to the late Queen Mother, another understated but meaningful nod to the values of grace, service, and quiet strength. As the weeks went by, public sympathy grew overwhelmingly in favor of Catherine and Sophie. Newspapers across the UK and abroad ran headlines questioning whether Camilla's decision reflected insecurity rather than modernization. "Is this the end of the royal sisterhood?" one tabloid asked. Others warned that such internal strife could damage the monarchy's image at a time when unity was most needed. Behind the palace gates, however, there were signs of cautious reconciliation. King Charles, understanding the importance of optics and family harmony, reportedly encouraged Catherine and Camilla to meet privately once more, this time without courtiers or staff. The meeting, according to sources, was calm and respectful. Camilla is said to have admitted that her intentions may have been misunderstood, and Catherine, ever gracious, thanked her for the clarification. Though no formal reversal of the tiara rule has been announced, those close to the family believe an unspoken compromise has been reached. Camilla realized that excluding Catherine and Sophie would only isolate her further, said one insider. And Catherine, in her usual way, chose forgiveness over confrontation. Today, while the tension hasn't completely disappeared, the royal women have chosen to move forward, not out of convenience, but out of duty. For them, the jewels they wear are no longer just ornaments of status, but symbols of resilience, patience, and the ability to rise above conflict. As one palace aide put it simply, "The true crown isn't the one on your head, it's the grace you carry in your heart."